Hi everybody, this is Victoria with Growing Kind Minds, and today I want to talk about whether or not step-parents have the right to discipline. This is a really hot topic, and I work with parents all the time who are remarried or step-parents who are inheriting children into their life in different ways. And people become step-parents very differently. Sometimes people divorce and remarry, and then people inherit children into their life. Other times people die and the biological parent remarries, and then that person becomes a step-parent. But any way you cut it, if disciplining a biological child is hard, which it is, it's often said that disciplining a stepchild feels nearly impossible. And as many benefits as there are to being a step-parent, it could be very, very challenging. Oftentimes I hear that step-parents feel that they have all the responsibility with a little bit less of the authority than they would like. And, anything that I can do to support step-parents in a more seamless process in their journey is always good. So I have a few tips for people who are in that step-parenting role and asking themselves, what is it that I can do to be a part of this child's life in a parent role without feeling like I'm overstepping my boundaries? Right? So the first thing that I share with people is that there should definitely be an open dialogue with the biological parent so that there can be consistency and also effectiveness in how you both parent that child when they're with you, right? So always make sure that you are not assuming that the expectations with your partner are the same for how you will discipline your stepchild. Have an open dialogue, have conversation around what your expectations are, and make sure that you're on the same page. The second tip that I have is have really clear expectations about disciplining and about supervision and how things are going to go, right? Many times if something happens, it might be a good idea to create a plan. So if A happens with the child, what is my responsibility there, right? What is it that we can agree to that works for both of us? Should I go to you and report what has happened and we will discuss it together? Should I implement a consequence that the child will know about and that we know about? So just having clear expectations and making sure that there's not one right way to do it, right? Every family has a different way that works for them. And also be realistic, right? Take time to ease into your step-parenting role. A lot of times people very much want to ease into it quickly, right? Living under the same roof or, wanting to parent the way that the biological parent parents. But my biggest tip here is to take your time and make sure that you build a rapport with the child before you start to discipline them the way that their biological parent may. And, stepchildren constantly will push boundaries, and they're going to test limits, and they're going to see how you react, and they're going to do things that may seem intentionally what I would call mean or, intentionally bad. But these behaviors are really coming out because children are testing their boundaries with you. It's a new relationship and they're trying to see who are you in their life? How are you going to react to them? Are you going to love them regardless of how badly they behave, right? For children, when a step-parent comes into their life, it could either be an amazing, beautiful thing that they jump into with excitement, or for some children, it can be scary or upsetting, or they may have a whole mixed bag of feelings about it, right? Depending on the situation, whether there was a divorce or separation or a death in the family of their parent. So remembering that children do need time to warm up, to wrap their minds around the situation and what is happening. And you may see many different behaviors that may not be pleasant, but to know that they are not personal to you. They are not personal to you. And so what you want to do is have a mindset of connection versus correction, I'm going to say that one more time, connection versus correction. And what I mean by that is, in the beginning of your relationship with your stepchild, you may want to allow their biological parent, your partner, and their other parent, if they're around in the situation, to really deal with disciplining the behavior, and for you to really worry about just focusing on building a relationship with your stepchild. And the relationship that I'm talking about is just a warm and friendly relationship, something that is easygoing and a child can really count on to be friendly. Otherwise, if you don't do that and you jump right into disciplining your stepchild, you may actually see a resentful child. You may find that your stepchild becomes a little bit resentful towards you or your attempts at parenting them. You may even hear things like, "I don't want to listen to you, you're not my mom," or "you're not my dad," right? And also focusing on encouraging them to do more behaviors that are desirable. So if your stepchild is behaving in a way that you really like, to encourage them to continue to do that in a really positive way. And I like to say building a love tank, right? So when we have, if you can imagine a love tank, a tank filled with love, right? We want to build up that love tank for it to be full before we start withdrawing from it. So with your stepchild, you may want to focus on building up that love before you start disciplining and, taking out of it. And how I like to share about that is we want to leverage our rapport and our really amazing, friendly, loving relationship with our stepchildren during times when we're going to want to discipline them, right? So really remembering these tips will support you in easing your flow, taking your time, and remembering that your job is to build a rapport with that stepchild, making sure that they know that you are an addition to their life, you are someone who they can count on, and you're someone who loves them, cares about them, and likes them. And that is going to really build a foundation that later on you'll be able to leverage. I hope that this was helpful to you. If it was, please comment, let me know. And if there's anything that I can answer for you regarding step parenting, please let me know as well. Make sure that you hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.